This is one of my favorite collections to set up each year, so I thought today we'd have a closer look at the 24/24s in 2024. Now obviously this one is for 2024, but these numbers change depending on the year. So for instance, 23/23s in 2023, 22/22s in 2022, and my first iteration, which was 21/21s in 2021. So today we're going to look at how this layout actually works, how you can set one up for yourself, and some ideas for what you can include on it. Looking at the structure of the setup, the main aspect is the graph here. So we have 24 boxes up and 24 boxes across, so that we can list out what the 24 things are and then record when we do them 24 times. In my first iteration of this, I just kept it to the graph itself, so in that case 21/21s, but then I found it a little bit hard to remember when I had or hadn't coloured in one of these boxes, so I decided to start pairing it with some notes. In 2022, I decided to combine the tracker with some extra pages where I could list out what those things actually were. So yes, I want to do new foods tried, but I actually wanted to be able to record what new foods I did try. This really helped because it meant that I could see when I'd recorded things. I didn't accidentally record them twice. In 2022 though, I didn't record every single one of these things in the subsequent pages, and that was a bit of a mistake because again, I fell into that problem of not knowing when I'd recorded something. So when it came to my 2023 layout, I decided to put in a section for each of the 23 things. So movies watched, TV show seasons watched or started, new artists listened to, so on and so forth. You can see most of these take up the same amount of space, but for the ones where I was only recording a date, that one's a little bit smaller, so I could fit more in the same amount of space. This meant that throughout this year, I had space to record every single one of these 23 things and when each of those occurrences happened or what the occurrence was. So like, what was the movie? Or what day did I actually do the live stream? That kind of stuff. I've gone with a very simple structure in 2024, so having the graph and then having each of the subsequent pages be places to record each of those 24 things, or each of the 24 instances of the 24 things. In terms of setting it up for yourself, the layout that I use is just a recommendation. I really like the visual aspect of having the graph at the start, but then I also find the functionality of having the lists on the subsequent pages really helpful. You could of course just keep this to a list view, you could do it on some Dutch doors if you wanted to, but this structure is the one that works for me. If you want to see the entire setup of the collection and the rest of the things that I have for 2024, then we do have a separate video on the channel already. Once the layout's set up though, and it comes to filling it in, all I have to do is write down the instance of whatever it is I'm looking at. So let's say we started watching Ted Lasso season 1. So I've now recorded it on my log, and I can also put it in the tracker. So that is instance 20 of TV show seasons watched. So we can find TV shows, number 20, and put a dot on the tracker. I try and check in with this roughly once a week, maybe once a fortnight depending, just so that I can update it with anything new. So we played Man of Medan, and that's game 14. So on the tracker, we can make sure that the games log is up to number 14. That was another change that I made between 2022 and 2023. So having numbers on 2023 rather than just bullet points, because otherwise I had to go through and count them each time, and that was a little frustrating. What's even more exciting than setting up the layout is populating it. What kind of things do we actually put on our 24/24s in 2024? Now, the recommendation here is that pick things that you know you can do repeatedly. Things that you genuinely think you'll be able to do 24 times in the year. For instance, if we have a look at my 22/22s, you can see there are some things that I certainly completed. So movies watched, also no food out days, and $100 saved. But then there were also some things that I didn't do at all or barely did, like cricket projects, of which I only had 2, or 2-litre water days, of which I had none. Looking back, I know that wasn't a great choice because most days I don't even get to 1 litre of water drunk, so expecting myself to do 2 litres 22 times in the year was a little bit unrealistic. Having a look at the ones I've done previously so that you can have some inspiration for your list, we have games played, books read. Of course, at this point I wasn't really reading, so I only got to 2 there. Movies watched, TV shows, and in particular I think I was doing different TV shows rather than TV show seasons. Recipes tried, face masks, like the self-care cream cleanser kind, not the COVID kind. New restaurants tried, social outings, kilos lost, vegetarian dinners, days where I didn't have any food out, like fast food, takeout, that kind of thing, layouts set up in my long-term collections journal, Coke-free days, of which I only had one, so that one did not get carried over, Skillshare classes, hair masks, playlists made, intentional compliments given, days off, $100 saved, times that I had fast food but I didn't get an upsize, and date nights. The nice part about doing this year after year is that when you start to look back on the data you've collected, you kind of know which things either need more attention or maybe you might want to let go of in the subsequent years, and which things you're doing pretty well at. When it came to my 22/22s, if we just flip the journal around, you can see we again have some duplicates, so movies watched, TV shows watched, games played, books read. But on this one we also have documentaries watched, which I separated out from movies, kind of as a way to be a little bit more intentional about watching things that I'm trying to learn something from. We of course had the cricket projects, new foods tried rather than just new recipes, vegetarian meals got renamed to meat-free dinners, 2-litre water days, which did not work out, 10,000 step days, which also I didn't do super great at. I also included blog posts, vlogs that weren't the week that was, and then the rest of these were repeats from 2021. You'll find that there are often things that I do repeat because I just like to have them on there. So if you did a layout like this last year, check there for inspiration first. Having a look at 2022 compared to 2023 though, I feel like my completion this year has been a lot better. But if again we just turn the journal around so we can have a look. So again we've got some of the similar ones, movies, TV shows, games, but we've also got artists, so like musical artists, in particular new to me artists that I listen to. I also included podcasts, and by that I mean podcast episodes, not separate podcasts. Books read was initially something else, but I've stuck a sticker over it and I replaced it with books read because I was finding I was reading a lot more. Originally I wasn't actually going to include it because I didn't think that I could get to 23. My 10,000 steps got replaced with 20-minute workouts, and my 2-litre of water days got replaced with 1 litre of water, which you can see I've been much more successful with. SM tasks are someday maybe or future me problems, so using my 23/23s as a way to tackle those kind of long-term, might do this eventually kind of things. I also included live streams because that was something I was trying to do more of this year, bonus videos, collaborations, new products in the shop, and shop sales. The rest of them though are carried over from previous years. So that begs the question, what am I going to be putting on my 24/24s? Well, I have some decided so far. A lot of them are just duplicates from what I've had in previous years. So movies, TV shows, podcasts, books, and games. I'm going to keep on things like my $100 saved, live streams, shop sales, collaborations. One of the things I know I'm changing is instead of doing 20-minute workouts, I'm going to put 24-minute workouts because that was kind of a missed opportunity from last year. But I have 4 in particular that are going to be new. One of them is going outside because I work from home, so I don't often think to intentionally go outside. Getting myself small treats because often I feel like I need an excuse to treat myself. So I think it would be nice to just build that into a regular occurrence type thing, just small things. Another one is trying different types of alcoholic drinks, in particular ones that I'm making at home, because I have quite an extensive range of alcohols that I just don't use. So it'd be nice to go through, try those, use it as an excuse to get a bit creative and try some new cocktails. And then the 4th new one I've got is making phone calls to my parents, because I'm very bad at keeping in touch. We still have a little bit of time before 2024, and I still need to find 7 other things. But if you were looking for ideas for your 24/24s, then we do have a shared resource with a bunch of ideas for you. That one can be found at our free resource library, which is linked in the description box below. So be sure to jump over there and check it out. Otherwise, if you were curious about the other layouts I'm using in 2024, then my 2024 setup video is what you'll want to watch next. Click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.